All right, so number one on this week's homework, week number 9, it says Monday, number 1, compare the numbers below using less than, greater than, or equal to. So we have negative 14 and negative 13. So you have to think, which one would an alligator rather bite? Scare you guys? Sorry, didn't mean to scare you guys. Which one would rather eat? Well, I'd rather have the bigger number, right? So the little mouth, the little triangle here, paint this in red so you guys can see it. Right? He's got a little thing here. He's going to bite the bigger number. And how are we going to figure that out? Well, you can graph it on a number line if you wanted to. We know numbers, when they are on the number line, they get bigger as you go left, right? So first we have 0, then we go -1, then we'll have -2, then we'll have -3. On this side we have 1, 2, 3. Sorry, it's a little sloppy, but you notice the numbers get, as they get smaller, our actual numbers get bigger, right? So -3, so -13 is going to be like, let's say it's right here, and -14 will be over here. So which one's smaller is the one to the left, and we're always going to want to eat the bigger one, right? Which means our answer is, there you go, -14 is less than -13. Question number 2, evaluate the expression below, simplify your answer. So we have 3 1/5 divided by 8 over 15. So what we need to do here, our step 1, is to get rid of this mixed number right here, right? This guy, we can't divide him very well. So what we're going to do is turn him into an improper fraction. And if you guys remember how to do that, which I hope you do, we're going to take our whole number, which is 3, times our denominator plus the top number. What I like to do is keep everything down here already organized. So we have our denominator is going to stay at 5, right, for our improper fraction, and everything else stays the same, divided by 8 over 15. So what's 3 times 5? I'm taking this whole number times the denominator. That's 15, right? Plus the top would be 16. So now we have this. Now if you guys remember how we or divide fractions, you have to think KCF. Keep, change, flip. So we're going to keep our first number. We're going to change our division to multiplication. And we're going to flip these numbers right here. So this is my slow way of doing it. Right? I'm flipping these guys. And now you can either multiply cross or cross cancel. I would cross cancel because it's a lot easier to do your math. I don't know what 16 times 15 is off the top of my head, but I do know what 15 divided by 5 is, and I can do that, right? Because 5 goes into 15. So what's 15 divided by 5? Make that red. 15 divided by 5 equals 3. And 5 divided by 5 equals 1, right? I'm dividing 5 from both these. And I can do the same to the 8 and 16. I can divide both of them by 8. So I'm going to do that. 8 divided by 8 equals 1. And 16 divided by 8 equals 2. Now you can multiply across. And you know what? I'm going to let you guys do that. You'll have 2 times 3, and then 1 times 1. You'll have an answer there. Number 3 says, write the fraction as the decimal. We have 3/5. So how can I write that as the decimal? Well, hopefully you guys remember in and out, because that's what a fraction is all about. So we have in and out, right? So what's going to go inside is our 3. And what goes outside is our 5. Now, some of you guys might be asking, how can 5 go into 3? This number's bigger than this one. I've always been taught we can't do that. Well, luckily, we have a fix for that. We're going to add a decimal, and then add a 0. So can 5 go into 3? We're going to say no, it can't, right? That would give us 0, bring in the next number, but we don't have to do that. We're going to add a decimal here. Bring it right up. And now think, how many times can 5 go into 30? It's a nice even number for us, so it's going to be 6. 5 times 6 equals 30. You can subtract, and you should end up with 0. That is our answer, 0.6. Got to remember in and out. All right, number 4 says, in what quadrant can we find negative 13, comma 0? That's our coordinates right there. Well, when we're talking quadrants, we always would think of our number line, or our plane, coordinate plane right here. And just think of the big C, right? We're going to say quadrant 1 is right here. Quadrant 2 is over here. Quadrant 3 is over here. And quadrant 4 is over here. So what quadrant can we find negative 13, 0? Well, negative 13, 0 would be negative 13 to the left, right? It'd be, let's say, about here somewhere. Oh, actually, it'd be more of a point, right? There we go. Oh, that's a tiny little point. So negative 13 is about right here. 0 is, well, I'm on 0. I would stay here. So what quadrant is that? Is that 2 or 3, right? Because it's like right here. Well, it's on neither, because we have our x-axis and our y-axis. And this is on our actual x-axis. Trick question. All right, so number 5, it says compare the numbers below using less than, greater than, or equal to, and we have absolute value of negative 4 and 4. So what are these numbers? Well, if you remember the absolute value, you know that it's always a positive number. So our absolute value of negative 4 is going to be 4, right? Because absolute value is just measuring the distance to 0. Right? So if you think, let me show you this little graph right here. So think of this number line right here. We have negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0. We're just trying to figure out how many spaces would it take to get to 0, right? Our distance to 0, that's what absolute value means. So it's just 1, 2, 3, 4. I know that's not very even, but that's how it works. So our absolute value is going to be 4, right? If I went 4 miles to the left, I'm still traveling 4 miles, right? This is still 4. So that's what we're talking about here. Our distance to 0, it's going to be 4. Oh, and to answer your question, is 4 equal to 4? Yes, right? So that's our answer.